Welcome to the Vector Guide. In this video, we're going to check out pattern brushes, particularly their length. I've got this arrow element here, and I'm going to drag it into the brushes panel and create a pattern brush, and let's turn on the method tints. Now we're going to take a look at this fit thing. I'm first going to OK, and now I'm going to apply that pattern brush, and let's give that a color. So now, as you can see, they are longer. So if we compare this, then you see the elements are longer. Let's take the endpoint of this path and make it slightly longer again. Then you see they are now shorter. They have now been squashed like this, and then they get slightly longer. And like this, and the single elements get slightly shorter. So let's double click this and set it to this here. So it adds some space in order to fit. And now you see they do match, but we have these little gaps. And let's set it to approximate path. And then again, something else will happen. So it will be moved slightly to the side in order to match, but we do not see it in this example. Let's take a look at something else. I have this path here. Now, this one didn't have any corner points, but this one has. So if you apply this here, then in the end, this means that normally whenever there's a corner point, then they get started new. But only here where that is not possible, Illustrator actually continues. And once you make that longer, then we get the situation where this actually breaks it. So, as you can see here. Let's take a look at a method with which I want to have them in this exact length, but I do not want any gaps. And in order to do that, we can have a little hack. Let's go to the stroke panel, and I need to show the options. And let's take a look at this here. First, I'm going to double click this again and stretch to fit. Now we need to know the length of this element. And if you have an invisible rectangle below, then you need to know the length of that invisible rectangle. This is the value. I'm going to copy that. And now what we're going to do is make this dashed and enter a dash of exactly that length. I'm going to enter millimeter to that because that's what I put in there, and a gap of 0. And now we need this to this option here, which sets the dashes and the gaps as long as you have entered here. Don't get distracted by these values here. These are happening because I have a Mac, and that's kind of a bug. So these need to be empty actually. So what's happening now? Illustrator is now making the dashes as long as I have entered here. And those are replaced by that arrow, which is the pattern brush element. And only the last one where it doesn't match anymore. This is getting squashed. When I make it longer, then you see at this point, it kind of breaks. So there we get a new arrow, which is then again squashed. And the other ones are just as long as defined in here, which corresponds to this length.